What makes a classic holiday movie? A journey of self-discovery, a grouchy character who hates seeing others happy? What about some cute animals? 8 Crazy Nights technically has all those things, but I'm hesitant to call it a holiday movie. Right before it came out, Stephen Franck, one of the animation supervisors, called it an Adam Sandler movie that just happens to be animated. But I think calling it a Sandler movie that just happens to be about the holidays is more fitting. All the Sandler hallmarks we expect are shown on full display. Aggressive behavior, plot holes, and racist undertones. But everything else seems hastily thrown in to create a product for Sandler's repertoire of Hanukkah jokes. It's not a holiday miracle Davy doesn't go to jail for beating up police and trespassing at the end of the movie. It's lazy writing.
Oh, this is embarrassing.
Davy, an attitude-filled man who tries to ruin the holiday season for others, is more of a deadbeat alcoholic than a lovable loser. He isolates himself and acts out as a grown man because his parents died during Hanukkah when he was 12. For what was marketed as the first major studio release about Hanukkah, the movie doesn't even depict Judaism positively. I understand we Jews are known for self-deprecating humor, but nothing here makes me walk away proud I celebrate Hanukkah. Davy rejects his religion and the holidays, while one of the other few characters who's actually Jewish in the movie is nothing more than a stereotype who dances around like this for no reason. Hell, about 5 minutes later, a room full of Christians break into a number clearly influenced by Hebrew folk music. Very tasteful. But by the end, everyone's happy and Davy's all of a sudden proudly Jewish again. So who cares the mayor awkwardly says, "Happy Hanukkah," staring straight into the camera. Happy Hanukkah. I think we all know there's only one thing as simultaneously annoying and lovable as holiday musicals. Old people. Seniors are a staple in holiday stories, from Scrooge walking with ghosts to grandmas getting run over by reindeers. But 8 Crazy Nights comes across as disrespectful towards the elderly. Sure, there's a big scene at the end where people decide to give Whitey the Town Appreciation Award instead of animated John Lovitz, but the movie consistently relies on cheap, senior jokes to fill time. I expect verbal ribbing in Sandler movies, so I'll excuse the few times he directly makes fun of seniors for being eccentric, but there are multiple times where he physically abuses Whitey, despite the fact he's the only reason Davy isn't in jail. He could have even killed him when he pushed this porta potty down and left him outside to freeze overnight. Another thing the cops just magically forget by the end of the movie. Even worse is the fact that the most repeated joke about the elderly rotates around them constantly having seizures to appear pathetic. I don't know if any of you guys have ever actually seen someone have a seizure in real life, but it's not funny. What producer saw this and thought, yeah, I love it? I doubt Adam Sandler would laugh if his grandpa had a seizure, so I don't understand why he included a scene where Davy holds Whitey down while he's seizing just to make fun of him. Nothing says happy holidays quite like holding someone down against their will when they're incapacitated. Perry Blake, the film's production designer, told Entertainment Magazine that, like in all of Adam's movies, the jokes come fast and he just moves on. If you get it, you're gonna laugh, but he's not hanging around just waiting for you to get it.
This is the happy seizure of my life!
I don't get it. And I also don't get the racist, transphobic jokes featured throughout the movie. I understand them, but I don't quite get why they're included. Rob Schneider playing token ethnic people in Sandler flicks is well known at this point, but I think it highlights how little Sandler and co. care about whether or not they're being offensive. If you have an Asian person in the movie making stereotypical or effeminate comments, but think the voice actor should be a silly white man, aren't you partially acknowledging it's a racist character? I know putting food on Rob's table is important for you, Adam, but I'm sure someone like Bobby Lee would have been happy to play that role if you weren't asking him to belittle himself. The movie doesn't stop at making fun of Asian Americans, unfortunately. The film happily belittles people for their weight and body hair, as well as being homeless and transgendered.
You got very nice boobs.
Not only are the jokes unnecessary, they illuminate how lazy Team Sandler really is. Instead of developing good holiday jokes to fill this one thematic project, everyone came up with more of the same racist poop jokes that would work in any other of his crappy films.
Poop again! He called the shit poop!
Holiday movies are supposed to celebrate the little guy, but 8 Crazy Nights happily belittles everyone to avoid coming across as overtly hateful.
Aren't you a boy?
Wait, did you see that? Product placement, especially around the holidays, is understandable. I expect a basic level of it in everything I watch, but I don't want to be bombarded to the point where I feel like I'm tripping in a mall. Brand mascots literally come alive and sing to Davy until he understands how big an asshole he is, and that the holidays are indeed magical. Our main character, the person we're supposed to want to see grow, can only mature when he drowns his sorrows alongside the Panda Express panda. I actually want to thank Panda Express for sponsoring this video. Use the coupon code on the bottom of the screen to buy a side of orange chicken for just $2.99. The protagonist's emotional growth wouldn't have happened without this scene. Brands weren't just used for background information, outside products played a key role in the plot. Honestly, 8 Crazy Nights, like many of Sandler's later projects, shouldn't even be considered a movie. It's just a vehicle to get exposure for certain brands, cash in on the holiday video market, and give Adam Sandler's friends a paycheck. While Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, and Wedding Singer were all profitable, Sandler wasn't a box office hit until 1999, when Big Daddy made $200 million in global profit. Coincidentally, Big Daddy was Sandler's first film distributed by Columbia Pictures, the beginning of a fruitful partnership that has since seen them distribute 24 of Happy Madison Productions' 39 films. If you see who distributed which movies, an obvious trend can be noticed. Columbia Pictures, now owned by Sony after being owned by Coca-Cola in the 80s, prefers projects that are noticeably commercial. Movies like 8 Crazy Nights, Click, and the Paul Blart series all prominently feature shopping centers in some way. Hell, one of the few scenes in 8 Crazy Nights that feels remotely spiritual or sincere includes Whitey emotionally breaking down and talking to the mall as if it were his god. And look at these esteemed stores serving as his holy servants of the Lord, looking down on him. Similarly, Columbia loves distributing Happy Madison movies that feel like 2-hour commercials for certain brands. The House Bunny, Jack and Jill, Here Comes the Boom, and Pixels are advertisements cheaply packaged as movies. The stories are forced excuses to keep characters talking about certain brands and get famous people to hold specific products.
Wow! Al Pacino!
It's not Al anymore. It's Dunk.
Dunkachino?
Don't mind if I do.
I don't want to blame Columbia Pictures for Happy Madison's bad movies, but the few films they've produced that I do enjoy weren't distributed by Columbia. Funny People, Grandma's Boy, and I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry are far from perfect, but they have fully formed stories and more heart than most Sandler-backed products do. Unfortunately, no matter who distributes his movies, it seems no one has the balls to tell Adam Sandler to stop being so damn racist.
I feel kind of guilty about this, bro. Taking money from nice people.
I mean, it's not like you're some greasy Mexican.
I feel less guilty now.
He's not the worst person in Hollywood, but if he wants to change his image, he needs to ditch the soft bigotry and occasionally say no when a company wants to be featured in a movie. In an Entertainment Magazine article released before 8 Crazy Nights came out, Sandler described Davey as someone a little too loud and a little too rowdy. But you knew him once as a sweet kid and a good member of the community, and you hope he sees the light again. Well, I think that's a great way to describe Sandler himself. So if you're watching this, Adam, please come back to the light. My holiday wish is that you have another movie like The Wedding Singer in your heart somewhere that doesn't rely on brands, silly voices, or racism to be a hit. While 8 Crazy Nights might not necessarily feel like a holiday celebration, I'm sure Adam, a family man, knows what's important and how to make it feel like a special time of year for his loved ones.
I like it. I mean, when they're happening, it's fun. I like being around the family. I like when kids are happy, giving presents. I like eating. I like getting presents, especially if they involve, you know, either money or like some sort of sex toy.